22, SB 988. The motion is do pass as amended to Senate Appropriations. Umberg?
Aye.
Umberg, aye. Wilk? Allen? Allen, aye. Ashby? Ashby, aye. Caballero? Caballero, aye. Durazo? Durazo, aye. Laird? Laird, aye. Min? Elo? Stern?
Aye.
Stern, aye. Wahab?
Wilk, aye.
Wilk, aye.
I was looking at the wrong bill.
8-0.
8-0. We're going to put that on call. I see your witnesses have arrived. We've stipulated you support the bill. Unless you want to testify otherwise, we're good. All right. All right. Thank you very much, Senator Wiener. Next, we're going to have Senator Allen, then Senator Durazo. And after Senator Durazo, we will have no further business in the committee. No, we'll go back through the roll. But just if you are watching from your office, now would be a good time to come back to committee. All right, Senator Allen.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair and members. Let me start by thanking the committee for their due diligence with this measure, and I am happy to accept the amendments. This has to do with household hazardous waste. Thousands of everyday household products are classified as household hazardous waste since they are deemed to pose a severe threat to human health, animals, and the environment if improperly managed at the end of life. However, while these products are in many respects ubiquitous in our homes, most residents don't know what is considered hazardous, what's not, nor do folks know how to manage a dangerous product at the end of life. Even if a person knows that a product is toxic and can't simply be thrown away, many communities lack a convenient system for safely collecting this waste. And we're starting to see disposal and collection costs increasing, and cities and counties are either raising rates to cover the costs or they have to reduce services, which further reduce convenience for local residents in this space. So the state has offered some limited grants to build new facilities or expand existing ones. Funding has fallen far short of what's needed. For example, while CalRecycle's facilities grant program has a cap of $5 million a year, the expected construction cost for a new facility in Sonoma is between 13 and 16 million. So this bill builds off of the work that we did with SB 54 and some of the other extended producer responsibility work that is underway, and some of you are involved with, to create to ask the consumer the consumer product companies in the household hazardous waste space to form a producer responsibility organization that will be tasked with enhancing accessibility and fully funding the safe collection, transportation, and disposal of household hazardous waste. And so happy to, we've got Heidi Sanborn, I think, is coming from the National Stewardship Action. Okay, Jordan's here from National Stewardship Action Council, and Melissa Sparks-Krantz with the Lead California Cities, who are both here to speak in support.
All right, go ahead. The floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you, Senator Allen, Chair and members. We greatly appreciate the committee's work on this bill and the proposed amendments. I am Jordan Wells on behalf of the National Stewardship Action Council, a nonprofit that advocates for an equitable circular economy and one of the nation's foremost experts in extended producer responsibility, also known as EPR. We are also the sponsor of SB 1143. SB 1143 will require the producers of household hazardous waste, also known as HHW in our world, as defined, to fund the convenient collection system for the most toxic products sold onto the marketplace. California's statewide Commission on Recycling Markets and Curbside Recycling developed over 34 policy recommendations that had unanimous consensus among the 17 diverse stakeholders, which included waste haulers, local governments, unions, and environmental organizations. Many of their recommendations have become law, but their very first recommendation was actually HHW EPR. While the costs local governments and thereby ratepayers pay to manage HHW are exorbitant, we know we are still not capturing it all. The remainder is improperly disposed of in the trash or recycling, where it adds costs and can contaminate food-grade materials, dumped in the environment where it can pollute, or stockpiled in residents' homes where it can create a significant safety risk. The California legislature has already taken a product-by-product approach for certain hazardous materials, including paint, mercury thermostats, medications, and needles, in lieu of a comprehensive solution. Earlier this year, the Zero Waste Sonoma Board of Directors approved the drafting of an HHW EPR ordinance, and we know that they are not the only jurisdiction looking at solving this issue locally due to inaction at the state level. This would create another patchwork of requirements that industry would be forced to comply with across the state. We are meeting with opposition and look forward to continued discussions to better define the scope of the bill and timelines. Thank you so much for your leadership, Senator Allen. I respectfully ask for your aye vote. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Others in support of SB 1143.
Melissa Sparks-Kranz with the League of California Cities. Good afternoon, Chair and members. It's been a long day. Here to provide support on 1143. Local governments, including cities and counties, are responsible for solid waste and household hazardous waste management. Our jurisdictions operate permanent facilities, temporary events, and oil collection sites. There are 151 permanent household hazardous waste facilities across the state. Our household hazardous waste programs do accept waste from households, but also small businesses. We clean up abandoned waste sites and also solid waste load check programs. We strive to keep programs free or as low cost for residential households to avoid illegal dumping that we ultimately have to manage as well. So household hazardous waste is extremely expensive for local governments to manage. We have no control over what manufacturers introduce into the stream of commerce, but we and our ratepayers have to pay to manage those materials at the end of life. Many products cost us more or as much or more to manage at the end of life than it costs at the point of sale. And we support 1143 because it fills a significant gap in the extended producer responsibility programs that we have in the state. 1143 will help ensure that manufacturers, not local governments and ratepayers, bear the cost of managing the household hazardous waste. And we believe that the producer responsibility organization would help coordinate collection and transportation programs across the state to achieve good economies of scale, working with local governments who are challenged by that. So we support the bill, and we look forward to continuing to work with the author and the sponsors. Thank you.
Alrighty, thank you very much. Others in support of SB 1143, please approach the microphone.
Good evening, Mr. Chair and members. Kara Ross on behalf of the town of Truckee in support.
Kayla Robinson on behalf of Rethink Waste in support. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ursula Quiros here on behalf of the Stop Waste Western Placer Waste Management Authority, and they're all in support and supporting Concept California Product Stewardship Council. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chris Scroggin on behalf of Republic Services in support.
Thank you.
Cameron Dimitri with Capital Advocacy on behalf of LA County in support.
Thank you.
And Jordan Wells again expressing support for Zero Waste Sonoma, Clean Water Action, Pesticide Action Network, Californians for Pesticide Reform, Marin Sanitary Service, Northern California Recycling Association, Sea Hugger, Zero Waste USA, City of Thousand Oaks, Napa Recycling and Waste Services, and the Resource Recovery Coalition of California. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mike Robeson here on behalf of Worthington Enterprises. They're the leading manufacturer of pressurized gas cylinders in the nation, and we're in support of the bill and continue to work with the author in making it a good bill. Thank you.
Thank you. We're in favor of good bills. All right.
Hi, Emily Pappas, Nimala Pappas and Associates. We are not in support nor opposed officially. We just have concerns. We represent the Animal Health Institute, the manufacturers of animal medicines, and specifically in this instance of small canine companions. And we are included, given that the bill now encompasses pesticides. And so working with the author and the sponsors and having another meeting on Thursday, and also here on behalf of California Life Sciences Association.
All tweeners or all?
Yes.
Okay, all right. All right, let's turn now to the opposition. If you're opposed to SB 1143, please approach.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Christopher Finarelli on behalf of the Household and Commercial Products Association. Regretfully, in opposition to SB 1143, our members manufacture a number of the products included in the scope of this bill, from pesticidal products, which include household uses like disinfectants, to aerosols, to automotive products and others. First, I'd like to underscore how appreciative we are of the author and sponsors for their willingness to engage with us on this important topic. However, we believe additional study is warranted before passing another large EPR program. Hazardous waste in California is complicated. The state has adopted criteria to determine what is hazardous waste that results in several additional materials being managed as household hazardous waste than would in other states and under federal rules. As part of their hazardous waste management plan due in 2025, DTSC intends to evaluate several issues related to hazardous waste management in the state, including the criteria used in California to determine what is hazardous. There was actually a workshop on this today and this afternoon. The plan will also include a waste reduction and capacity assurance strategy, as capacity to manage hazardous waste within the state has decreased. We believe this work will be incredibly informative on how to better manage household hazardous waste. For example, while we appreciate the author's recent amendments to clarify the scope of the program, we are concerned this could create unfair treatment under the law, where manufacturers required to join the producer responsibility organization would be subsidizing products which are not in scope but still meet the criteria of hazardous waste. Addressing the criteria itself would create more even playing field and less confusion for consumers. We intend to be a partner in this conversation, and that's why, as a first step towards strengthening existing infrastructure and programs, we support conducting a needs assessment to form a baseline of goal setting and determine the appropriate policy responses. We recognize EPR can be successful in certain applications, but that doesn't necessarily, it means that it's the only option.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Others in opposition to SB 1143?
Good evening, Mr. Chair and members. Rob Spiegel, California Manufacturers and Technology Association, also in opposition.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, Louis Brown on behalf of Western Plant Health Association in opposition.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Chair and members. Obed Frank on behalf of the American Chemistry Council in opposition.
Thank you very much. All right, others in opposition. Seeing no one else approach the microphone, let's bring it back to committee. One of our jurisdiction here is with respect to the civil penalties and the antitrust issues. And so that's what we focus upon. Just heads up to folks who are interested in why it is we have jurisdiction and what our focus is. All right. So questions, comments? Seeing no questions or comments. Did you have a question, Senator Caballero? Senator Caballero has a question.
Actually, just a comment. I had indicated to the senator that I had some issues and some concerns. They're not really the purview of this committee, but we had a robust conversation. I really appreciate I'm going to support the bill today because Senator Allen works really hard at trying to pick off as many of the opponents as possible by amending bills so that they do the right thing, right? And he's pushed me to support a whole bunch of bills that I would not normally have supported because he does that. So I expect that your commitment to me was you're going to continue to try to work with all the opponents to get it right. And so I appreciate that very much. In regards to the issues that this committee looks at, I'm satisfied that you're dealing with them.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. All right. Senator Wilk.
I'm so sorry, Mr. Chair. I know you want to get out of here.
No.
So I'm gonna support your bill as well today. Although I think it's pretty broad. But as Senator Caballero says, you have a history of being able to pick people off. I love that. Anyway, and sometimes
in a good way. In a good way.
So I always reserve the right. I always reserve the right later, and sometimes it has come back, and I've not been able to do it. But I know how sincere you are, and how smart you are, and how hard you work. I do, though, and I know we kind of talked offline. If you could maybe address the concerns by the. Now I got to put on my $3 readers. The Animal Health Institute.
Oh yeah.
I know, my dogs, Simi and Avi, are getting ready in a couple weeks to leave to their summer home on Cape Cod, and they have to take their tick medicine. And so I just want to make sure that we're all in compliance. So have you talked to them yet?
Yeah. So we actually have a
Are you referring to your dogs, or are you
My
referring
dogs.
to? Okay. All right.
We've only been focusing on Simi and not AB, but we actually so the folks from the Animal Health Institute, we've got a big meeting I think Thursday morning with them. So we're trying to work through the concerns. I mean, I think one of the key things to just have everybody remember, this is different from SB 54, right? We're not asking for the toxic material to be recycled. We just want it to be properly managed at the end of life. So in that sense, there's a real kind of conceptual difference. Flea and tick medicines like the ones.
Well, normally you take the dose and then there's nothing left.
Right. That's right. No, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So that's right. The question is for that stuff that's not, finished, or like a flea collar, for example. That's another thing that's currently considered hazardous waste. That would be treated by like any other product covered in the bill. So that's the issue. I mean, I think what gets tricky with the household hazardous waste is what to do with the little plastic vial that's used to dispense the liquid flea medicine, for example. Yeah. And that's why our approach has been to rely on the direction from DTSC or US EPA. So if the product's so hazardous that an empty vial is still considered hazardous, it would be covered under the bill. If it's not, if the directions on the box allow for the vial to be thrown away in the curbside,
I believe it is allowed to be thrown away unless my wife's breaking the law.
Yeah, well then if that's the case,
she broke the law, not me. I just want to go on record right now. I've never done that.
Yeah, I mean, if
at some point we'll read you your rights, but all right, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, if the directions on the box, unless they're really breaking with DTSC and EPA rules, if the direction on the box allow the vial just to be thrown away in the curbside bin, and then that's not considered a household hazardous waste, so it wouldn't be covered under the bill. Now, part of the bill does require the producers to include consumer outreach and education in their plans, and this will help consumers better understand. So we'll be able to approach this question with more knowledge. But it's very possible that this isn't going to be a problem at all. The issue really then is going to come down to where the DTSC and EPA standards are for certain types of medicines, and it's our understanding that some are going to trigger household hazardous waste and others may not, and that's what we're going to have to work through.
Well, that was a very complete answer, and I thank you for that.
Thank you. Other questions, comments? Senator Stern has moved the bill. All right. Would you close, Senator Allen?
I know. I appreciate the dialogue, I appreciate. All right. I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Wait a minute. Whoa. I can see I'm losing control here. All right. The folks in the peanut gallery, just okay.
Folks want to watch the Lakers and Kings games.
All right. Senator Allen, would you like to close?
I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
All right. Thank you very much. All right. The bill's been moved. Yes, Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
This is file item number 23, SB 1143. The motion is to pass as amended to Senate Appropriations. Umberg?
Aye.
Umberg, aye. Wilk?
Aye.
Wilk, aye. Allen? Allen, aye. Ashby? Ashby, aye. Caballero? Caballero, aye. Durasso? Durasso, aye. Laird? Laird, aye. Min? Min, aye. Nilo? Stern?
Aye.
Stern, aye. Wahab?
Thank you, members. Thank you.
9-0.
9-0. We're going to put that on call. All right. Last bill, Senator Durasso. Item number 24, SB 1490. So if you are watching, this is the last